I've already introduced Darrin to all of you, but to those folks who might be watching this recording, I'm going to introduce Darrin Morton. He is the Executive Director at Turning Point Ministries, located at Wilkes Boulevard United Methodist Church. And I know Darrin and I had a conversation a couple weeks back. We donated, for those of you who don't know, we donated the chairs that were in the library. We donated them to Turning Point for their use. We were done with them, give them a new home. And Darrin and I got to have a chance to have a conversation. And one of the things he lifted up is that their numbers, with all the changes of COVID, their numbers, they continue to serve. They're not serving less people because of COVID. They're not doing anything else. They have less volunteers, but they are continuing to serve. And I thought, that's kind of inspirational that, the need is still there no matter what. So I thought maybe you'd tell us a little bit about what they do there and especially how they're doing in the midst of COVID with the changes in their infrastructure, their health, and so on. So, Darrin, I'll let you do your thing.
Absolutely. So my name's Darrin, and my actual title is Managing Director. Reverend Brad Bryan is the Executive Director over there. He just kind of stays out the way and lets us just be free with creating and making Turning Point a safe place. So what Turning Point is a homeless day center for the near homeless community here in Columbia. So we serve any and everybody who comes there, and some of the services that we assist with is use of mailing address. So people can use 702 Wilkes as a mailing address to be able to receive mail and just put it on different things so they can just be brought to life. As I always say, it's almost impossible being homeless out here and not having an address and no place to receive mail. You got to have an address to get a license. You got to have this to get an ID, and then the ID to help you get the fooding that you want. So it's just this vicious cycle. So that's a great service that Turning Point provides. We also provide use of laundry, and it's all free. We provide washing powder, bleach, whatever it is that people may want to use. They can come and they can do up to 4 loads of laundry a week, there with us. So that's another great thing. And we also just have a dryer there because a lot of our communities camping out in the woods. So whenever it does rain or just a real hot day with sweat, we're allowing people to come in and just dry things. So that's something else we do. And then we also give showers. We don't give showers. We're not into giving showers, but our space allows people to come and take showers. And that's another thing. We provide socks. That's been donated to us. So if you come, you take a shower, we give you free socks, all them kind of things. Socks is crucial to our community. It's say like us, we can go jump in our car and our car needs an oil change. We just go get that done. And we know how important that car is to get us from point A to point B. Well, socks is like that oil change for our community because their feet is that vehicle that we use, and they have bikes as well. But there are some of the service that we provide. We have a services coordinator there on site that just helps us be able to connect people to the right resources. So in years past, one thing that I felt like we was doing wrong at Turning Point was we was trying to be everything for everybody. When you try to approach it that way, you will fail because we're not equipped and we don't have that ability or the tools to do that. So one thing that we really focus and key on now is we want to resource people to the right resource. We only want to do the things that we have the necessary stuff to be great at. It doesn't make sense for us to try to provide a service when we're not really educated in it, we don't have the tools, and then try to give it. But we have a services coordinator, and we direct people all over town to get them there. We was blessed by the Crossing Church that helped us get a company vehicle. So now we have our own Turning Point van, and we're able to get people to doctor's appointment, court dates, PO meetings, evaluations, assessments, IEP meetings. I mean, we're running them. We're getting them there. So that's another thing, so that they can be present without that stress of having to leave someplace 4 hours early just to get someplace on time. So we also have that. I'm trying to think of all the other cool deals we got going on. what Turning Point looked like before COVID. So it's radically different now. Before COVID, we had all these amazing volunteers that come. Miss Jessica was one of them. And we had a greeter when you come in up the steps. Our door was open, so people just walked in. We had a greeter at the door, say hello, welcome them, and we jotted them down. We get their name, date of birth, so then we just know, we keep record that way. They make their way up to the day room, and in the day room we would provide coffee, and then our desk person there in the day room would assist with mail, answer the phone, open lockers, and just try to answer whatever questions that they may have there. And then we just had everybody just kind of running free throughout the building. You know, we have our day room coordinator who is in charge of our shower list and just making sure we're getting people in and out of showers on time, moving them around throughout the building, just making sure it's safe. That's what it looked like before. And in the back room, we had our services corner, and that's where he was positioned. And people come back there and use a computer. We help people fill out applications, find loved ones, whatever it is that they needed help with, we was trying to assist in that before. Since COVID has come, one thing that we refuse to do is stop providing the services, because it's not going to stop. COVID doesn't recognize or care that there's this whole community of homeless folks out here that doesn't have a place to be quarantined at. You know, so as you know, the city and governors and presidents are making these rules and giving all these great suggestions on how people can stay safe and how you should just go quarantine in your home. I mean, that's hard to tell someone to go be quarantined in your tent, that they're trying to run you off of that space anyways because they don't want you there because you're trespassing. So throughout that, my staff and I, we were really big on making sure that our doors stayed open. Whatever it was going to take for us, you know, even being at risk. I feel like we're at risk every day. The reality of it is, and in my opinion, no one truly knows how to deal effectively with COVID. No one truly knows what's best or what's the best remedy with it. So we feel like God has definitely placed all of us, and I know through my testimony that God brung me. He brought me to Turning Point. He's not going to get us there now through COVID and all of a sudden just leave and just leave us high and dry. So we're going to provide services, and that's what we continue to do throughout. We've never shut our doors. We haven't not denied no one's services. We're still going. The things that we changed is now our door is locked. So as you approach Turning Point now, the door freely was just open, our door is locked, and we have a person that sits by the door. And we ask people now, what is it, what service do you need help with? So that way we can keep down our population. We're not just having a lot of people sitting around. We do only allow about 12 to 17 people up in the day room now. So as we provide the service, we get people in and we move people out if we have people in the parking lot waiting to get services. So as they approach, we ask, what is your service that you need? They may say, today I'm here to do laundry and take a shower. We get them in. As we get them upstairs, we have social distancing upstairs. We're one to a table. X amount of people could be in a computer room. One person can be sitting over here by the phone. Once we get them in, we can do them services. If nobody else is in the parking lot, we just let them hang out, because we are also still a heating center or a cooling center. So we allow people just to sit and be comfortable. But if we get a parking lot full, we then will ask whoever got there first, all right, man, you took your shower, you did this, could you step out for a moment so we can get so-and-so in so that they can continue on with their day? And it's been great. We started using walkie-talkies now. You will love doing this, Jessica. We got some cool walkie-talkies. I can communicate with like the staff at Turning Point all the way at the post office on our walkie-talkies, so it's pretty neat. But so,
down the stairs anymore.
yeah, no, we cut all that yelling out. You know, we was at first trying to figure out how to communicate and let people know when somebody's coming up. It was a lot of yelling, and we think so far within it that that's triggering people. You know, because a lot of our community deals with a lot of mental health, a lot of abuse. There's some substance abuse. There's a lot of different things that's going on. So us just sitting around yelling was not helping. So we have walkie-talkies now, and we just communicate that way when we let people in. Also, whenever people are just coming to receive mail, we no longer let people in the building to get mail. So we moved our mail room from upstairs in the day room to downstairs, and whenever someone comes, they just give us their name, we'll walkie it, and then we'll just grab the mail for them and take it right outside, meet them at the door. So that way we're providing more distance there, and we just don't have abundance of people in the building. Upstairs in the day room, we're still doing showers, all that stuff. And it just kind of works, you know, with us only allowing the 17 in. People are still freely to move to a shower and freely. But the way the church is designed there, I mean, the church was built a long, long time ago. I mean, it's hard to really get up and down these steps without really passing someone. So we make do with it, but we haven't stopped, and we're not going to stop providing services. We're excited to be able to assist and help people throughout these tough times and these times of unknown. So that's the gist of what Turning Point is before COVID, and that is Turning Point after COVID. Got going on.
And have your numbers increased with COVID? Are they just kind of stayed the same, or?
I'd say we're pretty consistent.
Okay.
So say like last week, earlier this week, Monday, I think by around 10 o'clock in the morning, we had already serviced 77 people. And I mean, that's at 10 in the morning, and our community is waiting. So when I pull in the parking lot at 6:30 in the morning, I mean, they're waiting. You know, I enjoy it, but sometimes it can be overwhelming because I'm grandma, I'm grandpa, I'm cousin, I'm best friend. I'm the person that made them angry downtown, even though I'm all them things in that one little pot. So, I mean, they're up bright and ready to get after it, you know, bright and early in the morning. So our services has not changed at all. We're still up to from anywhere every day from 60 to 100 people.
Wow.
Every day, still giving showers, giving mail, and just helping them restore dignity and providing hope there. I love that I got, is it Pastor Rick or Reverend Rick?
Pastors, but
Either.
Reverend is the formal, but pastor's
Okay.
cool.
Okay. Pastor Rick, when we was chatting, and I was explaining to him, you know, a little bit of what we do and our approach and the changes, and he said restoring dignity, and I just loved it. I loved it, you know, within our conversation of just talking how everyone's got dignity. Everyone's born with it, you know, and it's there. It's just they lost sight of it for that moment, or the world done beat them down enough to where they just feel as if they're not, and it's restoring something that's there. So I appreciate you for giving me that. I'm not going to tell nobody else that he gave me that. I'm taking full credit. I came up with that. We're restoring dignity. So yeah, we're still restoring dignity and providing hope every day. And our services range from, I mean, everything that I just explained, but some of the biggest thing that we can do is just let other people know that they're seen and that you're somebody. You know, I always like to share with people is people get confused and they think that everyone that is homeless or somebody that's flying that sign, they assume that they're some addict or they're struggling with some addiction. And that's not the case at all. Circumstance truly does play a part in how some of these people fall and land homeless. I always think of this young lady that, you know, her and I got a great relationship, but her story, normal life, working with the school, RN, working in a hospital, great things going on. She had suffered this head injury. So while she was in this coma, she had to relearn a lot of things. Throughout that process, her husband decided that he didn't want to no longer embark on this journey with her. So he divorced her while she was in this coma. Took everything. She woke up, and throughout this process, losing insurance, not having the money to pay for this, no longer having that support, she becomes depressed. She becomes down. She becomes out. She becomes homeless. So then within this new way of like losing house, losing job, trying to learn all these things, losing a support system, then there comes that thing of trying to self-medicate. But it isn't just that everybody wakes up and they're just like, oh man, I think I want to just do drugs. And this is why I'm homeless. That is not the case at all, you know. So I just always want to share that with people, the people that fly them signs. You guys understand that term when I say fly the sign? Fly the sign is the term that they use. It's whenever they're standing on the corner and they're panhandling, and they're flying their sign there. There truly are some people there that truly are in need. And then there also are those that's looking to make that quick buck. But there are some talented people that hold that sign, and we don't know. Because, not saying us in this room, but we're so quick to judge and think that we got it figured out already that we're going to look and just say, ugh. Versus getting to know that that person that's flying that sign is phenomenal at chess. This one's an artist. I allow one woman to come in every day now just to play the piano. She comes just to play the piano because it makes her feel as if she was 12, still taking them lessons before her mom and everyone passed away, and she was stuck to go live with uncle. Then uncle abused her. Uncle sexually assaulted her. So then she had to live with that secret. She tried to hide that secret because that was her only place to stay. And then throughout that abuse, then the other things became. It's not that we just look and we see that, or we don't know what's really underneath the sign. So I just always try to encourage that of people. We got to look and start seeing people for people, not the surface. That's what makes us live in such an ugly world now, when we get caught up on thinking that we can look and just know. So anyways, that's what we do there at Turning Point. Yes, ma'am.
Question. I know a lot of the agencies in town have had to change their service models, just like you kind of have. Are you still able to get the services that are your folks still able to get the services that they need, even in the new world?
No, great question. So we struggled at first throughout COVID because as we continued to stay open, our community was still running around, still trying to make their next appointment, still trying to provide this, still trying to get things like that. But other places had shut their doors. Some places did say, well, we're going to send our staff home. So it was a struggle there for a while because our community was coming and not understanding why life was paused. Because to them, it's like they've been in COVID for the last 25 years, So we did struggle there for a while. So then that's when we found ways to be creative with not trying to step out of our lane, but we found ways to try to assist. If that was just calling and contacting one of our partner agencies and us filling out paperwork with that person there. So I say us at Turning Point, our job may became more demanding. We might have had to start doing a little bit more versus just the normal trying to keep the property safe on my end. I was reading paperwork to people and filling it out with people and trying to get understanding and different things like that. So, yeah, but we were able to still stay afloat as people started to slowly open back up. We were able to still get things back going. Is a great question.
Looking forward to the winter, I have a Plymouth Inn volunteer in the past who's probably not going to be qualified to do that this year because of risk factors. Do you have any sense of how our community is going to handle this cold month?
Yeah, I think right now there's been talks of like room at the inn getting potentially like a hotel, so then that people can be housed that way and rotate. I don't know all the dynamics of that, but I just know that whatever we can do there at Turning Point that can still provide safety and keep people. So you're required to wear a mask now in Turning Point. You're required to wash your hands or Germ-Max, give that option there. So outside of the things there, we're going to figure out a way to, if we got to allow more people in just to sit them in the sanctuary throughout the morning hours, just so that we can, and we'll just sit a staff in there so we can monitor. We're going to be creative, but it's something that everybody's still trying to figure out. And just the thought of it, kind of makes me sick in my stomach that like, oh my gosh, how do I tell someone when it's 6 degrees outside that you can't come in because we reach capacity? So it's like, do you protect them from COVID or do you let them freeze? So it's tough. It's like really making some decisions, but we're gonna stay on it. God's gonna point us in the right direction for sure. Yes, sir.
You said that you get there at 6:30 in the morning. So how late in the evening is somebody there?
So for Turning Point, we changed our hours. Turning Point usually only runs from 8 a.m. to noon. just as a day center. Some staff are still there to help do certain things, and we can assist people a little bit after that, getting to appointments or whatnot. We changed our hours to now we open at 7:30, and we go until 12:30, a little bit after 12:30, so we can get people there. So Turning Point runs during that time with them services, but Wilkes also has other ministries that take place. So Loaves and Fish starts around about 4:30, and Loaves and Fish is where they come and they can eat dinner. So like a Turning Point staff will just pop up sometimes there, but Loaves and Fish, they have some staff, not staff, they have, like 2 staff and some volunteers that assist. So our community kind of just hangs and lingers until that opportunity to eat there. So, but that closes at 6:30. Loaves and Fish closes at 6:30. So they're there up until about 12:31. And then there's that window of time where our parking lot closes, and then we reopen. Loaves and Fish reopen the parking lot.
We do, just so you know, our church does serve at Lowe's, it's just once a month.
Oh, cool. So you guys are well familiar with it. That's awesome. Another thing that's just started last week, 2 weeks ago, and when you guys serve, you might see, is we got great support now from the Columbia Police Department. And that was something that we were asking for a long time, just with the silliness and some of the behaviors that can take place there. So now we have officers that will come and just bring a body heat, bring presence, and they just hang in the parking lot. So that's an awesome thing. I had to like rethink and remold my mind, as we said, and Miss Jessica knows, when I first came on at Turning Point, it was, we can save everyone. We can help everyone. And like coming with that mindset and mentality that, like God, Jesus, he left the 99 to go get the 1, because that 1 brings great worth, that 1 has great value. So he left the 99. So like I'm coming with that mindset, like, oh no, it's okay. It's okay that he beat him up yesterday. Bring him on back. Oh, it's okay. I'm sure they were doing drugs. Bring them on back. And it was that kind of approach. And then it just hit me. It was like, no, I can't risk the 99 to entertain the 1. That 1 is hurting a lot of people. That 1, so that kind of changed our mentality a bit, and it's helped us to be able to make Turning Point a way safer place. So if we know it, we have people that's there for all the wrong reasons. Our community is a community that gets preyed on a lot. People know they're just sitting there. They get their income at the end of the month or whatever they got. They know they can come through the parking lot, give them whatever, and they're going to be, we no longer allow them type of things. We set cones up in the parking lot. We block off certain areas now. No one's allowed to come and just sit in the parking lot. If you're in a car for 5 minutes and you haven't made your way to the door to see what type of service you want, you're asked to leave. If it's people that we know that come and we know that they're users, they're just using, you can't be on our property no more, because you're magneting it towards others. You're inviting that behavior. And we don't want people to think that we're cool with that no more, because we're not. We're not. We want to truly rock with those who are truly trying to make that turn in their life. That's what we want to do. But those, we just don't sweep them under the rug. We want to encourage them, let's get help at Phoenix. Let's come. Let's see how we can fight this together. But we can't let you come here and keep pulling people down with you. We're not doing that.
I'm kind of curious about the relationship between Turning Point and the church, and both Willard Methodist, and even with Loaves and Fishes in the church too. Are you ministries of the church? Are you a separate 501c3? Does the church have, a governing board that's, how does that all work? How does that relationship work?
So we're all ministries of Wilkes Methodist Church. That's how it works. So we're all our own entity. So the way that I approach Turning Point, the way that we go about conducting, the rules that we have in place is a little different for the way at Loaves and Fish maybe go about something like that, or another place that may come and work out of Wilkes Methodist Church. But the relationship-wise is great. Reverend Brad does phenomenal with communicating with us, connecting with Loaves and Fish, and everybody else who may come throughout the building. We have some AA, NA meetings that meet there. I can't remember the name of, there's another group, Faith Voices, they're in there a lot. The Gun Club, I can't remember exactly the name of it, John Brown. Yeah, so I mean, there's a lot of people that come, and Wilkes Methodist Church I mean, they're touching a lot of things, and we all respect and understand that without Wilkes housing us, we can't do what we do, and we respect the fact that they're allowing this ministry to be a part of what they are. So relationship is great. We communicate, we work well together, but it's all a thing up there.
Do you have like, does Turning Point have its own like governing board or something, or is it?
No.
Okay.
So say like if we were to do something in Turning Point, if I wanted to say, man, I need this wall over here to be just ripped out. Up here, I need to install these new, anything. You know, if it's something that's really big, we just gotta go through like the board of trustees. So like I'll say to Pastor Brad, we need this because it's gonna be safer for Turning Point. Then the board of trustees would talk and they say, okay, cool. And then we move forward that way. So that's kind of how it works.
Okay. And then what about funding? You know, how is Turning Point funded?
Yeah.
You know, as I guess United Way has a part in it. I know we give money every year.
Yeah.
But you know, how is it really funded? Do you get help from the Methodist denomination or?
Well, so we're funded through United Way, helps provide the City of Columbia, you know, so through like grants, you know, we get grants funding through that. But then also that's still just not enough, you know, not enough in a sense of ungratefulness, not saying that by any means, but we get funding there, we get funding from City, United Way, and then from there it's just churches, you know, so a lot of donation that comes through. So we have you guys who assist us in great ways to help us be rich. And I mean, just rich in ways of them chairs. You know, that is a great thing, like, to our community. You know, it's like, man, this chair's soft. It's got wheels. This is cool. You know, they love that. You know, so little things like that where we don't have to go into our bank account and try to go purchase things to bring dignity or smile or hope, it gets donated. So throughout churches, donating, local people, we have a dentist that knows about Turning Point, had a family member years ago that struggled with homelessness, so he just comes in and writes a check, you know. So there's just different things like that. Churches give to us random donations and then grants.
Do you participate in Como Gives?
Yes, ma'am, we just got in there. So we did Como Gives last year for the first time, and we're gonna keep pushing at that and get after it. So yeah, we take part in Como Gives, and it's just another great way that, you know, we get out there and get known and get seen. It just blew my mind. So many people didn't know about Turning Point. You know, so that's one thing that we've really been trying to like push and get out there, is that there is a place for this community. There is a place for the people that you see flying the signs and all that stuff. So, and go back on something I said earlier, I want to make sure I said it right. So with the person that's flying the sign, and like I said, there's a lot of talented people there, and there are people that truly need the money, and there are some that's gonna probably not do right by the money, you know, but you can't never know. My encouragement is always, I would say, give the money to the place that can fund that person. So not saying give money to Turning Point, maybe give it to McCambridge, give it to the Phoenix House, give it to Salvation Army, you know, I mean, give it to the place to where we can know that if that person is truly trying to get 18 bucks for an ID, the funds are there and they can get it. So I just wanted to clarify that. You know, I didn't want no one to go out and start giving a ton of money to someone, you know, flying a sign or nothing like that. It's just, if you get the money to the right place, then it keeps doors open so then they can continue to provide the services that we're trying to provide.
What is your address?
702 Wilkes Boulevard, Columbia, Missouri, 65201. Sorry. Now I can give you my card, whatever. I believe it's right over there behind Hickman High School, right down there from Dairy Queen.
So is there something that churches can do? And what could we do, you know, to help the ministry? I think we just collected something, didn't just collected deodorant or something? I forget which, but are there things that we can do specifically that would address immediate or urgent needs? Or?
Yeah, one thing I always start off by saying is, and I'm probably not good at this part of the job, because I'm never gonna walk up to some place and say, write us a check, give us money. Because, I mean, you know you need lights, you need water, you need things like that. The very first thing I always say is, you need your prayer. We take it all day long. I mean, that's number one for what we're doing. We need people just thinking about us. We need that power of healing that comes from prayer. We need just that strength from there. So number one, biggest thing I always say is just prayer. You know, we want that. And then second, you know, the things that both of our community uses, you know, the females and males, or everyone uses deodorant, so then we lose that very quick. Everyone uses toothbrushes, toothpaste, we lose that real quick. Razors is huge. I mean, we can't keep razors. You know, we have the ladies that's, you know, shaving from toe to the head, and then, you know, we have men who come in, and I mean, the beards get real long real quick. So then we have that, but razors, travel size deodorant, travel size toothpaste, toothbrushes is just crucial, you know, and then some of the other stuff is just seasonal, you know, so like socks, you know, socks, we got a lot of socks right now, but socks is always crucial. It is, I mean, you can't have enough of them, but seasonal stuff, like in the wintertime, we always want like the ponchos, gloves, stocking caps, different things like that. We'd take coats during that time. That's the only time we really want clothing, so that we can get them to people quicker, because everybody's going to come to Turning Point. Before they get to, I mean, they're stopping by there, you know. Another thing that we also provide, I forgot to mention, is storage. We also have lockers so that people can store items as well, so that they don't have to just keep things at their camp constantly.
So if you're gonna can you just bring it to the church, or?
Yes, ma'am.
To the back door, or?
Yep. So we would say that our front door is the parking lot side of Wilkes, so that's where we're at. And I mean, you can truly just walk right on up and just say, I'm here with this and I have a donation. We like to get your name, so that way we can send you a thank you card. But some people just don't want to even give their name. They just want to give. But yeah, anytime you can just pop up between that 6:30 and 12:30, and someone will most likely be there.
So you say socks, what about shoes?
Yeah.
Do you have a need for those things?
Well,
Or is it
there-
just from somewhere?
There's definitely a need for it, but we don't do that. You know, because that was something that we were trying to do. We were trying to do everything. You know, we wanted socks, we wanted pants, we wanted underwear, we wanted it all. And we was trying our best to give it. And it led to more conflict than it did truly helping. And we don't have the stuff or system and paperwork set up to truly track it the right way, to know who is truly getting it the first time and who's just coming to take it. Yeah. So, but I mean, I definitely know a place where we can take them to.
To get those things?
Yeah,
Okay.
wardrobe free.
That's what I was gonna ask,
Yep.
if you have parts, like the wardrobe.
Yes, ma'am.
Like that.
We have vouchers, so we'll fill out a voucher for people in that honor at the wardrobe, and then people can get there like Tuesday and shop with it. And it works because when they shop there, they're on file, and there they can say you get 3 pairs of pants, 2 under things, 4 t-shirts, and then you can come back next week. Where we were just like, cool, man, take it. I know that you're struggling, take it. And then I go outside and they're selling what I just gave them. You know, so I was like, no, I need that back. No. Give me my hoodie back. I'm gonna give it to somebody else. You can't have it no more, you know?
But you do still do socks.
Yes, yeah,
So socks is.
yeah,
Socks just got worn out.
Yeah.
yeah,
It's unbelievable how much people walk.
yes. It's impressive.
Yeah.
It truly is impressive when I'll see a person at Turning Point there in the morning, and then by the time I'm driving across town to go coach, and then on my way, I'm like, oh my gosh, how did you get it? And I mean, they just walk. They have a great pace. Man, I wish I could walk with that pace.
Maybe something sometime when things are a little more normal, have a sock Sunday.
Yeah.
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 See how many pairs of socks we can collect on a Sunday, you know?
Absolutely. Yes, sir.
What kind of training did you have?
He's got a drawer full.
This job that you're,
Say it again, I'm sorry.
what kind of training did you have that helped you to get the job that you got now?
So, man, that's a long answer. I don't know if we have the time for that. But in short, I always share with people that what we do at Turning Point, you're not gonna find in no textbook. You're not gonna find it in psychology or theology 301. It's just not. Like, we're on our toes. For me, I never once viewed myself as a person that would work in a homeless facility. I was a little prejudiced myself. Like, I would drive up years ago and look and be like, oh, I'm not giving you nothing. I already know. I every time I approached it that way, when I first went off to college, I went to a JUCO in Kansas, and I worked at a place called Fort County Mental Health for youth and adolescents. No, for just youth, young kids, and just being there and seeing that and just like, oh my gosh, why is this kid acting like that? You know, like, man, like, we got to get this under control. And so I was there, and that kind of, I absorbed that. And then from there, I transferred to Missouri Valley in Marshall. And I had an opportunity to work at Butterfield Youth Services. That was the name of it at the time. And oh my gosh, just Tom Butterfield and what was taking place there in Marshall, just phenomenal. Working with these youth and adolescents who had behavioral facility. That's what that was. It was a behavioral facility. So I got the mental part of it. And I was kind of like, oh man, this is, I don't know about this, but working with youth, I love youth. My whole life, I just thought I was a youth person. And then I got to work with the adolescent and the behavioral. And I started to learn that kids aren't bad just because they want to be bad. There's some things that these kids has triggered and inspired to get them to react and respond like that. So I learned a lot from there, at Butterfield Youth Services. So then, as we was there, my wife went to work at a bigger hospital. So she transferred to the University of Missouri here on the oncology floor. It's when it was first coming about. So when we come here, I was like, man, well, I work with youth. This is what I'm going to do, So I started working at Pathways Navigate, and it was a drug and alcohol facilitation center for youth and adolescent kids struggling with addiction. So again, I go there, and I'm just learning so much. So I got to do the mental part of it. I got to do the behavioral side of it, and then I got to do the addiction side of it. So I think just a lot of that there's not a course that I've took throughout college that prepared me for what I'm doing at Turning Point. It's just not, so them opportunities for working, my background there, and this super cool thing, I don't know if you guys know Miss Jane from Love Inc., Miss Jane Williams. Well, Miss Jane is just phenomenal. Miss Jane is blind. And I went to meet with Miss Jane. We was having a meeting, and she was just so excited to meet me. That's when I first started to come about. And she was just so giddy to meet me, and we talked, and I couldn't tell you that Miss Jane was blind, because she talked with such that I could have swore she could describe me. And then once I realized, I was like, oh my goodness, she's blind. So then I felt as if I needed to say that, hey, I'm about 6'3", about 290, African American. None of that stuff mattered to Miss Jane. She can see what she needed to see, and she knew what was there. But she said the super coolest thing to me. She said, it was never about your wife coming to Columbia for that job. God brought you here. Your wife was just the only person that could convince you to come for the need that was waiting for you. Super, like, it still gives me chills, like when I think about it. And there was a lot more that went with the conversation and all that stuff. But when I sit and I think about that and my experiences of where, I thought I was a youth person. I still coach 8th graders. And I have a great love for that, but I no longer say that I'm a youth person. I'm a vessel, I'm a tool that's being used by God, and it's just phenomenal. So I hope that answered the question.
I think that's helpful for you to share that. I would suggest wherever you go to give a presentation, somehow to work that in. These are the sequences of experience that I've had that have enabled me to take the job that I have. They've helped me to see people in a whole different way. So I think that's helpful for you to share those kinds of things.
For sure, absolutely, and that is very much, part of it. Turning Point has, with the other things that I took place in and what I did, it was because of, I like to think it was because of me. I was successful working with the kids at the mental place because I had great energy. I was young, I was in shape, I was an athlete, so I could run around with them. I thought it was me. Whenever I got to the behavioral place, I thought it was me because of my size. I can intimidate these kids a little bit. It worked out. And that was a time where like color worked in my favor. They needed a larger black male to like play this role, not play this role, but do this role. So then whenever I came to work with the kids that struggle with addiction, again, it was me. I'm cool, I'm hip, I understand, I got this. That was my mindset, I got this. Turning Point humbled me real quick. Turning Point is the first job where I wake up and I know in order for me to have success, I have to have God. It's a beautiful thing when you wake up and you know that you have to trust. And I'm not saying this just because I'm here in a church. I say this wherever I'm at and I'm sharing bits and pieces of my testimony. I love the fact that I wake up and I have to rely on God to have success. Because my community doesn't care that I'm 6'3". Because there's a lot of people bigger than me out there. They don't care that I'm 290. Because there are some people that's 600. They don't care that I'm African American because I stand among a lot of African Americans. So none of that matters. So is it me or do I have to put my trust and walk right? So that's what helps us have success. And that's my background that I think helps me be able to be this tool.
Thank you.
Thank you. That's a great question.
May I say, if you could sit behind the desk like I have and watch him walk in and relate to those people, it's incredible. He has a personality and a conviction and a manner, and can communicate with many of them. I couldn't do, suppose you come from your background. So he's amazing to watch.
Thank you, Ms. Jessica. Thank you.
Yeah, I had the opportunity to watch Darrin a few times. I hung out with Jessica one day and
Yeah.
got to watch, and it's every interaction that he has with a client or whatever, he's teaching them something. And the things that he says or the ways that he presents or whatever, everything is an educational moment, or an affirming moment, or a way to lift them up or something. It's just it's interesting watching the interactions. So yeah, I see what Jessica's talking about.
I appreciate that. You guys probably were just there on good days.
Could be.
You just happen to come on a good day.
May I add also that for all the folks who come in and they're struggling and they're going through, have a lot of needs, it is so heartwarming on those occasions where somebody comes in and they've got a job and they announce it practically the whole room, and it's incredible. And how happy they are, or somebody who's finally had been on the street and have waited and gone through the process and finally has a housing. And it's like a kid at Christmas. It
Yes.
is amazing
It is.
to watch that. It's so, such a raw emotion and success. It's very heartwarming.
The gratitude. It's like no other.
Yeah, well, unless anybody has any other questions, we thank you, Darrin. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for hearing me,
Yeah.
allowing me to share.
We'll definitely keep you in our prayers, you and the ministries at Turning Point in our prayers. And do what we can here to be supportive.
Absolutely.
Are you still like accepting volunteers who wanna come and work?
Not at the moment.
Okay, that's what I was wondering.
Yeah, at the moment, we're just kind of running it with us five, and if there's someone that just has that itch to want to volunteer and get after it, we can find a way. It truly is safe, you know, as safe as, I mean, everything else that's going on, you know. But we can find a way, but we just want to try to keep people as safe as possible, you know. So a lot of our volunteers was in that at-risk category. So we just definitely want to be like, we love you and thank you. We appreciate you, but, yeah.
Darrin, how do you fix for time?
We have time. We had a hotel donate. Yeah. Here we go. Yes, ma'am. Isn't it a cool place?
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.